You need to show 4 things in the United States to get a patent. Figuring out whether you have a patentable invention is actually pretty hard, but there's 4 main things you need to think about. There's 4 things that you need to show the government in order to get a patent. Of course, this is in addition to meeting many other smaller requirements, but these are the main 4. So I'll tell you a story. A client came into me, he had an invention that he wanted to build a business around. This invention was something that he had been working on for years, and he was finally ready to take the next step and get going on a business for it. The problem is it is tough to discern whether that invention is actually patentable. What did we do first? We actually didn't start talking about the patent. We started talking about business strategy. Being the philosophy that I use at stake is that your business strategy should drive your intellectual property strategy, not the other way around. You don't want to be going for patents or trademarks or copyrights or even trying to protect trade secrets that aren't actually going to serve your business strategy. So that's why we start with talking business strategy. So once we had that down, we were able to talk about the patent and figure out what kind of a patent scope would be ideal to fit that business strategy. Does it need to be broad? Does it need to be narrow? Does it need to be somewhere in between? Are we trying to get a patent fast? Are we trying to take our time? What are we trying to do? What kind of scope do we want to try to get? And that's why we have to start with the business strategy, because the business strategy is going to help us determine what the appropriate patent scope is. Now, once we have that scope nailed down, the question becomes, well, can we patent this? So to figure out whether the invention was patentable, we took the next step and did a patentability analysis. This goes in 2 steps. The first step was a patentability search, and then we analyzed it. So in the patentability search, we talked about the invention. We wrote down what our search scope would be. Now, this isn't designed to look like a patent claim. This is designed to look like something that the searcher can use to actually put together the queries that are needed to make the search. It means we didn't only look at patents and patent publications, we also looked at abandoned patent publications, abandoned patents. We looked at various other places that prior art could come from, including online academic databases. We looked at online product databases. We looked, for various products that are being sold in the marketplace. These are all places that prior art could come from. We won't go into that in this video. You can check out this video if you want to learn a little bit more about prior art and where that comes from. So after we got the results back, we took a look at them. We first reviewed them for quality, and then we actually took a look at what the results were. I'm going to give you a quick little trick to quickly review the quality of a patentability search. Obviously, you want to go deeper as you get into the analysis, but here's the first thing that I look for. I look to see if there are results close to the invention that I was looking to find. This tells you 2 things. The first thing that it tells you is it tells you that you clearly communicated the scope to the person doing the search. Oftentimes, it's not the patent attorney themselves doing the search. It's a professional searcher that is actually going to be forming the queries and putting together the search results. By seeing something that's close to the invention that you're searching for in there, that tells you that the searcher was looking for the right thing. The second thing that it tells you is it tells you that the searcher was looking in the right places. Sometimes a bummer to see an exact match of an invention within the search results, but sometimes inventors will see that and they'll come up with an invention that's better than what they came up with in the first place. But if you can tell that you clearly communicated what you were searching for and that the searcher was searching in the right place, that is a preliminary indicator that that search report is quality. So in step 2, we did a patentability analysis. This means going over the 4 big requirements of getting a patent in the United States. We did a deep dive into these to talk about them, to talk about what they meant in view of the search results that we got in step 1. So the first one actually doesn't touch the search results at all. This is talking about utility and eligibility. This comes from 35 USC 101. Whether an invention has utility is usually a very easy bar to clear. So we're just saying that there is usefulness to it. One place that you could conceivably see it, a utility rejection, is if the invention is for like a perpetual motion device. So something that can't actually work. A perpetual motion device is generally not viewed as being useful because it can't be built. It violates the laws of physics. So in that case, we actually were able to argue that no, we weren't actually building a perpetual motion device. Even though it might have looked like it, we actually were building something that used energy in a novel way. The other piece of section 101 is eligibility. This one is really tricky when it comes to things like software inventions, because over the years, the case law has developed on this one to prevent the patenting of abstract ideas. And whether you're a superhuman or not is beside the point, but things that could be done in a mind can't just be said to be done on a computer. So this eligibility bar basically bans mathematical algorithms, natural processes, and laws of nature. If it falls into one of those categories, it's generally going to be excluded under Section 101. With that abstract idea piece, we spend a lot of time arguing with the patent office, though, regarding software inventions, because oftentimes we're implementing algorithms, especially in the AI space. And we have to argue that they're not abstract ideas that are barred by that rule. So, in fact, we are actually doing something with the data either before going into the algorithm or after using it in the algorithm in order to clear that Section 101 bar. So the myth going around that you can't patent software is false. You can patent software as long as you scope your claims correctly. So once we've cleared utility and eligibility, we make it to novelty. Novelty is, I call, the cornerstone of patent law. This is 35 USC section 102. If you want to learn more about novelty, check out this video here, where we'll talk in more depth about what makes an invention novel or not novel. So novelty asks whether there is a single piece of prior art out there that discloses each and every limitation of your claimed invention. Important words there. So limitations is basically the boundary around your invention that you're trying to protect. You want to think about it as the scope of your claim. And as far as the claimed invention goes, the claimed invention and the actual invention may have varying scope. So for instance, you may have a very particular implementation of your invention, but you're claiming broader than that so that you can cover variations and prevent design arounds of that invention. I like to describe a claim as a defense around your backyard. So if your invention is a single blade of grass within your backyard, the fence that you're drawing around it is enclosing all of those blades of grass. So if we get past the novelty bar, we get into obviousness, which is 35 USC section 103. Obviousness goes beyond novelty. So novelty focuses on a single prior art reference. Obviousness says, can I combine multiple prior art references, or can I modify that single prior art reference to get to your invention in a way that would have been obvious at the time your patent application was filed? So the patent examiner can't use your specification to cherry pick from the prior art to come up with your invention. That's hindsight, that's banned. They're not allowed to do that. But if they're able to make an argument that on the day that you filed your patent application, that multiple pieces of prior art could be put together with some motivation and some expectation of success to come up with your claimed invention, then your invention is obvious. So we spend a lot of our time in the patent legal industry arguing within obviousness, arguing against obviousness with the patent office. And this is where we're trying to hone the claim scope. We're trying to determine what exactly is going to clear this obviousness bar. Now, I've been using the word prior art, and that's where that search from step one comes in, both for novelty and for non-obviousness, is we have to take a look at those search results, and we're looking to determine whether there are results within there that are going to give us trouble in either the novelty bar or in the non-obviousness bar. And that is why we do the search. The final bar you have to clear for patentability has to deal with how the specification is written. This comes from 35 USC 112A, which in essence requires you to disclose your invention in such a way that someone who has reasonable skill in the area that you're working in could actually read your patent application, combined with their background knowledge, make, use, or otherwise construct your invention. This requirement is one of the trickiest ones to meet. This is the one that says what your patent specification has to contain. Sometimes you see specifications that are written out there that simply don't have enough, even on a granted patent. Sometimes they get through. And this means that that patent is probably not going to be high enough of quality to enforce. And that's why making sure that this requirement is met is crucial. And this is one of those places where the patent attorney is going to come in and help you a lot. To go back to our story, we looked at these requirements and we figured out that we had something that was useful, was probably eligible, would probably be novel, would probably not be obvious, and that we would actually be able to describe sufficiently in a patent application to get a patent, all within the claim scope that we wanted, that we decided based on the business strategy. So what did we do next? We applied for the patent. We got it. So if you have an invention that's eligible, novel, not obvious, and you can describe adequately to meet the requirements of the patent law, you've cleared the 4 main bars to getting a patent. So if you want to learn more about how you can build out your startup's IP strategy or even procure patents for your startup, follow, subscribe, ring the bell, learn more about how to do this for your startup.